What's up, YouTube? It's Meante the Go, and I'm back here with this video. Today's video, y'all, is going to be a coming out story. Basically, kinda. It's gonna be the story of how I told my dad I was gay, and it's in honor of Pride Month. So I figure I might as well put out this video. I didn't want to put out a video like this for a while because of the fact that talking about this brings up a lot of emotions and bring up a lot of memories and past trauma that I don't like discussing, or I don't like talking about, or I don't like re-experiencing. But I will tell this story, but I'm gonna tell it. I'm not gonna go into specific details about certain events because of my privacy and because of the people involved privacy. First thing first, this video is not to bash my dad, it's not to dehumanize him, make him seem like he's a bad person. The video is basically to tell my story, and my dad is a part of my story. So I want to tell this story. So what we gonna do, y'all, is we gonna hop right in. So y'all, growing up, basically me and my dad never really had like the closest relationship. Me and my dad always bumped heads and always had like a conflict of interest because of obvious reasons. I didn't come out anything or at a young age, but I feel like your parents can always feel like if you're gay or not at a young age because, like I said, they're your parents, they know you. So I feel like me and my dad's conflict of interest was caused by the fact that I was gay, even though it wasn't nothing we openly spoke about. I felt like everything I wanted to do, my dad didn't want me to do, or everything my dad wanted me to do, it went so much against who I was, I just didn't want to do it. And it made me not like him for a majority of my life. My bad, y'all, the camera cut out, I had to restart it. But y'all, me and my dad really didn't have like the closest relationship growing up because of, I felt like he didn't understand me. I feel like he didn't want to get to understand me. I felt like he didn't really care to see who I was. He just wanted me to be who he wanted me to be. So when I was younger, it just made me not really want to be around him. Basically, I always knew what I was, I always know who I was. I just didn't know what word to put with it. I didn't know what being gay was. All I knew was I had an attraction to males and I had more feminine qualities than other boys growing up. So I never really knew, or I never really thought about what gay was until I was older. I would always hear people calling me gay, calling me a sissy and things like that. Also, when I was younger, like real young, my mom had my hair like really, really long to the point where people thought I was a girl. And that was like a big thing for my dad. He didn't want my hair long, and I always wanted to grow my hair out, but my dad always wanted my hair short. Growing up, I really was never really into sports. I didn't really do boy activities other than like play outside. I wasn't really into, video games as much as other boys. I really wasn't into game systems as much as other boys. And to be honest with you, honestly, I thought my sexuality would be something I would be able to ignore. I thought my sexuality was something I was going to be able to put in the past where it wouldn't bother me anymore. I thought my attractions to the same sex would be able to fade away and I would be able to grow up and live a nice, normal life. I didn't think this is what I would be doing. I never thought I would be sitting here right now making this video about talking to my parents I was gay. Growing up, I always knew my family and I always knew my dad didn't really have the best opinion on gay people. I only seen a handful of gay people growing up like in my family, and I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. We really don't see that much diversity in Indianapolis, Indiana. And all the gay people I did see or always talked about as soon as they left the room, or they were always dragged through, or people always say they had AIDS and they was dying and God was gonna punish them and send them to hell. I felt like I couldn't, satisfy my dad with anything I did. I feel like I couldn't make my dad proud. I feel like, like he didn't like me. Like I felt like no matter what I did, it never would be good enough for him. No matter if I would have finally cured the cancer or anything, I felt like that still wouldn't be good enough for him. And I always felt like it's because I was gay and he knew, but we just didn't speak on it. I felt like that's always the reason he never, went to show me acceptance, in my opinion. And my dad really, it wasn't the lovey-dovey type either. My dad was really more so strict about the parenting approach. I felt like I could have found who I was way sooner if I had more of a freer childhood, if that makes sense. When I was younger, people would call me a faggot until I learned how to, what I call, butch it up, which is basically learning how to act the way where you pass it straight. So I learned how to pass it straight when I was younger, really young, so I would be able to, have a halfway decent life, and I wouldn't have to go through the adversities, dealing with people judging me for my sexuality in my everyday life. Really tried to ignore it for as long as possible. I really didn't want that to be what people judge me for. I feel like as gay people, we have to worry about acceptance from everybody. When we go out, we have to worry about, oh, is somebody gonna say something if I'm dressed too gay, or if I'm acting too flamboyant? Am I gonna get dirty looks or things like that? That's stuff we have to worry about as gay males that people don't really realize. I feel like when you're a gay male, especially a black gay male, it's like you have a target put in your back, and your life could end in any moment from somebody just being ignorant and not liking you because of who you are. You don't have to do nothing to nobody. You could just be simply minding your business, and you can die that fast. And that's something I was always aware of growing up. I always knew I would have to eventually fight for my respect. I always knew I would eventually have to fight, living in this world and being who I am. And one person I feel like, that accepted me really young was my grandmother on my dad's side. My grandmother on my dad's side me and her was really, really close. Me and my grandmother was like this, and we're still really, really close. I really love my grandma, and my grandma asked me a few questions when I was younger, basically asking me, hey, I denied it, but I always knew she knew, and I feel like she knew I knew she knew. I was really young dealing with depression. My depression didn't really start as a teenager. It kind of started as a young kid, But back to the story, back to the background story. Me and my dad just wasn't connecting so far in that way. And I just didn't know what I could do to satisfy him. But I really didn't know anything about gay culture. I didn't know anything about me being gay other than the fact that I like boys. And sometimes I walked a little funny. So I had a really, really high-pitched voice until I hit puberty. My voice was really high-pitched, and so people used to always tell me I sound like too, clocking me left and right, and I'm just sitting up here saying, I'm straight. Just trying to convince myself more so than convincing the world that I was straight. I would never pursue a relationship with a boy. I never thought I would date a boy. I never thought I would talk to a boy. I never thought I could have feelings for a boy. Or I never thought, especially that I would be in public with another boy that I was talking to. I'm just living my life totally different from how I thought I was going to live it. And about 5th or 6th grade is when I start listening to Nicki Minaj. My dad had a big problem with that. Seeing it now, I can see why a father wouldn't want their 10 or 11-year-old son listen to Nicki Minaj. I listen to Nicki Minaj. I wanted to listen to Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj was my life. Nicki Minaj was my everything. Nicki Minaj, I woke up listening to Nicki Minaj. I went to sleep listening to Nicki Minaj. Listen to all her albums all day, every day. All her mixtapes all day, every day. All her features all day, every day. I will play them and listen to them all day, every day. I remember he's like, okay, you can't listen to Nicki Minaj today. And so I didn't listen to Nicki Minaj the whole day. That was one of the worst days ever. So I'm not going to go into why I stopped living with my dad. I'm not going to go into that. That's a different story. That's a different day. And it's kind of irrelevant to this story. But I stopped living with my dad about 13 or 14. And I stopped having contact with my dad too. All my contact I had with my dad was that I had to go through it. Every time I talked with my dad, because I had to, not because I wanted to. He didn't have the best relationship growing up as a teenager because I just got through living with my dad. And because I didn't live with my dad, I didn't feel like my dad could tell me what to do. I didn't feel like he could tell me anything either. So I chose to deliberately disobey him a lot of times. We said a lot of things to each other. But during that time, it was more so me being the aggressor in our relationship and that was the reason we didn't have a relationship, because I harbored so much hurt towards him. And me and my dad didn't really get back into a speaking basis until I was almost out of high school. He came to my prom and things like that. He met my, who is now my female best friend. And he thought I was talking to her, and the whole time I'm just like. But the time I spent away from my dad is the time I spent learning who I was, and that's the time I spent learning how to accept myself and accept my sexuality. My teenage years was like the best of my childhood. Well, of my whole upbringing. I'm not gonna say childhood because that doesn't make sense. But my teenage years was the best of my whole upbringing, because I felt like I was finding myself, and I felt like I was honestly being who I was. And it was the first time in my life I felt like I could be Miante unapologetically. For the first 2 or 3 years of me being a teenager, mainly freshman and sophomore year of high school, I tried to be straight. I really did. I started talking to girls. I had a few girlfriends, had a few relationships, and actually had a few girls I actually cared about, and I still do care about, but what we gonna do now, honestly? At the back of my mind, I always knew I was gay, no matter how many male friends I had or how many girlfriends I had, no matter how baggy I dressed, no matter how hood I tried to act, or no matter what I did. I always thought in the back of my head, like, I'm gay. Like, why am I doing all this? Like, none of this is for me. This isn't me. And it wasn't me, honestly. I feel like I'm not no thug. I'm not no bitch, but I'm not no thug. Like, that's just not me. It just wasn't me, honestly. And I just never wanted to be that, but I knew that's what I had to act like I was in order to pass it straight. I really didn't have any gay friends either. My gay friends I'll always fall out with. I'll always have to fall out with them and fight them. And so I really didn't have any gay friends until I got older, like really older. Friends that I did have always defended me from people, when people all ask if I was gay or not, because eventually I just stopped trying to act straight. I just started being myself, no matter however that was, and that was liberating towards me. I cut a lot of people off. I cut a lot of my male friends off, if I want to be specific, to the point where I really didn't have nobody. I really didn't have nobody but a few close friends, and so they used to defend me, and they helped a big part. And now all of those close friends know about me, my sexuality, so it's really easier to navigate, and it's really easier to trust them and have a bond with them, because I feel like I'm not keeping a secret no more. So I get out of high school, after not speaking to my dad for so long, I tried to pursue a relationship with my dad. I put everything he put me through emotionally, I put that behind me, and I just started to look towards the future, because I didn't want to grow up and not have a dad. I used to always look at my sister and be like, dang, her dad does so much for her. Or I would look at my friend's dad and be like, oh, her dad can buy her so many Jordans, her dad can do this for her. Or don't get me wrong, it's not about material things. It's just the fact that they had a dad they cared about, and they cared about them. I felt like when my dad cared about me, I didn't care about him. And when I cared about my dad, I felt like he didn't. I know he cared. I know he cared about me. I know he loved me. I'm not saying my dad didn't care. I'm not saying my dad didn't care about me. What I'm saying is, at that age, I didn't feel like he cared about me. So I always wanted a father figure. I always wanted a male to look up to. I never had any older siblings or anything. Only people I had to look up to was women. I always wanted a man to look up to, and a man to be like, a man to be my role model and to teach me how to be a man. But I spent the years becoming a man away from my dad, and I didn't really have too much of a father figure. I had my sister's dad, but he was, I wasn't around him enough for him to do anything. And plus I wanted my own dad. I get cool with my dad, and me and him start building a bond, and I'm enjoying our bond. It was weird at first, but I really enjoy having him around. But I always knew in the back of my head that one day I was going to have to tell him about myself if I was going to live in my truth. When I got out of high school, I stopped considering myself DL, because that's when I stopped denying that I was gay to everybody. That's when people would ask me if I was gay, I would say yeah, or I wouldn't say no. This is something that affects me to this day. Like, I hate when people ask me about my sexuality. That's when I hate it so much. It irritates me so much. but now I'm more comfortable with it than what I was. If the angle or anything looks thrown off, it's because of I just checked my camera to make sure it's running. I've been having problems with my camera as I've been recording videos because I've been recording and my camera would just cut out in the middle of me talking, and I've recorded a whole video, a whole story time, and I'll talk for like a long time, whole time my camera's not even recording. So yeah, that's something I have to deal with. But back to the story, I knew one day I would have to come out to him. I just didn't think it would be anytime soon. I always thought I would be well off into my life, and then I can tell him. I didn't think I would be able to tell him, or I would be able to stomach it. And I also felt like if I were to be openly gay with my dad, that he wasn't going to accept me for who I was, and we was going to lose our relationship. I had already had the conversation with my mom, and the conversation with my mom didn't go how I planned it to go, and didn't go how I expected it to go. So I was kind of nervous about having a conversation with another parent. And it always bothered me because no matter how much I said I didn't like my dad, no matter how much I said I hated him, or how many times I said, you know, some choice things about him, I always wanted his acceptance. I always wanted my dad to love me. I always wanted to make him proud. I always wanted him to say, that's my son and I'm proud of him. And my dad started communicating more consistently. As I was living in Indianapolis, I would go over there with him sometimes, spend time with my siblings, spend time with my grandma. I would, you know, just enjoy being a part of the family again. Probably 9 months after I got out of high school, I moved down to Atlanta. I moved down here by myself with no family, no friends or anything. I moved down here, and my dad was nervous for me to move down here because we've lived in Atlanta before together, and me and my dad really don't have too many good memories in Georgia together. He was nervous about me moving down here, especially considering the fact that the first time I moved out the house, I moved out the house and moved out of state with, you know, with no friends from up north or anything, like nothing. Hearing him telling me that he was proud of me after a few months that actually made it was worth the while. So I'm just down here in Atlanta living my best gay life. I'm down here coming to terms with my sexuality. I'm down here coming to terms, you know, linking up with other gay people, learning how to be gay in public. I was in a relationship down here and we was openly, in-personally gay. And that was my first time experiencing that. The topics of coming out to your parents will always come up in our personal talk sometimes, and I would talk with my friends about it, about how their parents responded to them. And you know, I'm hearing a variety of stories, like, you know, some parents like disown them, some parents threaten to kill them and things like that. And I've always been really scared to tell my dad I was gay, but I always thought in my back of the head, like, he knows I'm gay. He has to know I'm gay. He has to know I'm gay. There's no way he don't know. Is he choosing not to speak on it for the simple fact that he doesn't want me to be gay? Or is he choosing not to speak on it because he wants me to come out? Or is he choosing not to speak on it because he genuinely believes I'm straight? So I didn't know. Time goes past, a few months go by, it's October, and me and Darian are at a friend's house, and we was going through a situation at the time, so we was kind of already in our bag. We woke up the next morning, like early, and Darian went back to sleep. And so I'm sitting in bed. I think I was editing a YouTube video or something, or trying to figure out what I was about to do with my life at that moment. And my dad calls me early in the morning. Like, my dad usually calls me in the morning, so I didn't really think nothing of it, but my dad called me that morning. So he calls me, and I pick up, you know, and he asked me a question when he got on the phone. I said, what, you know, I said, what's wrong? And he asked me if I said something, it was over something he heard I said about him. And he asked me about it, and I told him it wasn't true, I didn't say it, you know, we got past all that. Then he said, well, I have something else to tell you. And I'm like, okay, what? Well, y'all know last year I got exposed. I got exposed really, really bad on Tumblr. I got baited, a bait page. If y'all don't know what a bait page is, basically a bait page is a page, you know, catfish you to get your nudes and then sends them to other people so other people can enjoy your nudes, I guess, and to make a profit off of it. And so I got catfished by a bait page, and I ended up sending nudes to the wrong person, and that page ended up exposing me. So I have a family member that has another gay family member, and that family member that gay family member saw my nudes on Tumblr and sent my nudes to my family member. And my family member told my dad about it. The relationship dynamic me and my dad have, we have a father-son relationship, but we don't have the father-son relationship where I can say I fear him or anything, or if my dad were to tell me something, I feel like I would have to do it. I feel like I'm grown, nobody can tell me nothing. And me and my dad didn't have that type of relationship where that's not somebody you would show that to. So I was shocked. I was really caught off guard at the fact, actually. So my dad tells me that she proceeds to send him pictures of my nudes, and my dad saw my nudes. He told me that he asked her not to send them, but she sent them anyway. And he said he didn't really want to hear anything about the matter, that he was just gonna call me. And she said she did it out of concern for me. That's what she told him, that she did it out of concern for me. But I feel like if you have concern for me, or if you want to see if I'm good or if anything, I feel like you need to contact me before you contact anybody about me, especially not somebody I have that type of relationship with. She would have been better off calling somebody else if that was her intentions, but I didn't feel like those were her intentions. But I'm not going to speak on that. I already made a video about that. The first thing my dad asked me if I was a porn star, and I told him I wasn't a porn star, I was just sending nudes. My dad asked me another question. He said, well, I need you to be completely honest with me. He said, just tell me the answer. He said, are you gay? And then I felt like my whole stomach dropped to my foot. Like, I'm just like, because he didn't sugarcoat it or nothing. My dad didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't ease it in, put a band-aid on it. He just went straight in and asked the question. So I kind of caught me off guard. And I was going to hang up, and I was going to just act like I didn't hear it. And I was going to ignore and try to talk to him about 2 or 3 weeks and just act, and just expect him to ignore it. But I didn't do that. And so I sat up on the phone. Now I'm just thinking, like, if I say yes to this, like, what is he gonna say? Is he going to shun me? Is he gonna cuss me out? Is he about to start hitting me with Bible scriptures? Or is he gonna hang up the phone? Is this the last time we're gonna talk? Is this the last time that we're going to be able to communicate? Y'all gotta realize I just got him back in my life, and this is the first time he's been in my life, and I can say it's been on nothing but positive from him. It's the first time for a long time. I feel like I have a dad. I feel like I have a father figure. I'm not trying to lose that. I don't want, that to go away. I don't want to just go back to what it was. I didn't want to be beefing with my dad again. I didn't want him to judge me for who I was. But at the same time, I just accepted myself. I'm accepting myself now. I'm living in my truth. I'm telling everybody else in the world I'm gay. So what's the point of me not telling my parents I'm gay? What was the purpose? And I told myself, no matter what he says, no matter what he does or who he tells or anything, that I was going to be good, and I was going to be secure in myself, and I wasn't going to let it hurt me, and I wasn't going to let it affect me. So I answered his question, and I told him yes. And he said, I'm glad you was honest with me, and I love you so much, and I love you. He told me that no matter what, he'll always love me, no matter what I become and who I am. He'll always love me. He'll always have love for me in his heart. I really wanted to cry right then and there. Like, I'm just like, dang, you really care about me. My dad growing up really wasn't a lovey-dovey person. My dad had me at an age not too older than what I am now, 21 or 22 when he had me. He was more so focused on providing versus emotional things. So hearing my dad telling me he loved me in that kind of way, and being so sincere, closed a big wound in me. Those emotions I've always wanted to release to him on other people for so long. I felt really vulnerable saying it, but I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I didn't lie about it. I feel like if you want to come out to your parents, or if you feel like you want to have that conversation with your parents, I feel like you should. It's never too early or too late to have the conversation. Okay, so like I told y'all, my camera cuts out. It just did it again as I was recording. I feel like as a community, more of us should share our story so we can be able to show to younger people that there's people out there and there's acceptance out there for them. So people won't have to go through the things I did growing up. I feel like if more of us were more open and more of the community, we'll be able to make a bigger difference thank y'all for watching my, I guess you could kind of say it's a coming out story. But I thank y'all for watching the video about me telling my dad I'm gay. I was thinking about doing a part 2 on how I told my own mom I was gay, but that's kind of iffy. But if you guys want the video sooner, if you guys like this one, then I'll do it sooner than expected. But I'm glad that I was able to share that with people. If you watch the video, Dad, I love you so much, and I'm so glad that you love me, and I'm so glad that you're in my life now, and I'm so glad that we're able to have the relationship we do. That's it for today, you guys. Turn on my bell to be notified when I post a video. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, I want to get to know more of my subscribers, so comment your names in the comments and I will shout them out. You can see if you make the cut next video that you see, maybe. It depends on my filming schedule, because I don't film then upload. I film, you know, when I upload a video, you never know when I really filmed it. Thank y'all for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna say that again. And thank y'all for watching, and make sure you guys be positive in everything you do, and make sure you guys love each other and love yourselves.